Hey everyone! So the iPhone 17 series just launched a few weeks back and the hype is real. All the new features, the new designs. It's exciting stuff. But all that new tech got me thinking. What about the phones that are now a couple of years old? Specifically, this one. The iPhone 15. It launched back in 2023 and now in late 2025 with two new generations out, you can find it on the secondary market for around $450 to $500. And that price, well, that changes the conversation completely. So the big question is it still worth it? Should you buy one or maybe upgrade to one from an older phone? Let's talk about it. In this video, we're going to cover everything from the design and display to how the performance holds up with the brand new iOS 26. We'll look at the camera, the battery life, and of course talk about the things it doesn't have like Apple Intelligence. Just for full disclosure, this blue iPhone 15 has been my secondary backup phone for about a year now. I first started using it back in October 2024. It's not my daily driver, it's more of a backup. A device I use for testing new iOS betas for some gaming or just when my main phone is on the charger. As of today, the battery health is still at a perfect 100% with 207 charge cycles, which is honestly pretty impressive. And we'll get into why a little later. Also, a quick note, everything I'm about to say about this phone pretty much applies to the iPhone 15 Plus as well. The only real differences are the bigger 6.7-inch screen and the even better battery life. So if you're someone who just wants a larger display or is a battery life absolutist, you can just mentally sub in the 15 Plus here. I've seen a lot of positive comments on forums from people who own the Plus and they rave about its endurance, so it's a really solid choice if you value that. So what was so special about the iPhone 15 when it first came out? Looking back, I think this was the year the standard iPhone finally grew up. For a long time, the base models felt like they were a full generation behind the Pros, but the iPhone 15 really broke that pattern. It inherited three key Pro features that make it age incredibly well. First, the design. Apple moved away from those sharp, flat edges of the iPhone 12, 13, and 14. This phone has softly contoured aluminum edges that just melt into the back glass. It feels so much more comfortable to hold, which was a common point of praise in long-term reviews back when it was new. And the back is this beautiful color-infused matte textured glass. My blue one here still looks brand new with basically no fingerprints. It just feels premium in a way. Second, it got the dynamic island. This was a huge deal because it finally got rid of the notch on the standard model and unified the look of the entire iPhone lineup. It's not just for looks though. I find it genuinely useful for things like timers, music controls, and live activities like tracking a food delivery without having to jump back into the app. It makes the phone feel modern and interactive, turning what used to be a dead space into something functional. And third, the big one, USB-C. Finally, after years of the Lightning port having one cable to charge my iPhone, my iPad, and my Mac is just a massive quality of life improvement. I can even use this iPhone to charge up my AirPods or Apple Watch in a pinch with a USB-C cable, which I've actually done a few times when I've been out and about. Now it's true, this is a USB 2.0 port, not the faster USB 3 you get on the Pro models. That means data transfer speeds are capped at 480 megabits per second, but let's be honest, for most people, this is a non-issue. I, like most users, transfer big files with AirDrop or just use iCloud. The main benefit here is the universal charging standard, not raw data speed. Alright, let's talk about the screen. It's a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display and it is beautiful. It's sharp, colors are fantastic, and it gets incredibly bright outdoors up to 2000 nits peak brightness, which is still excellent even by 2025 standards. But we have to address this one. It's a 60Hz panel, no ProMotion. On paper, this is the phone's biggest weakness, and if you're coming from a 120Hz phone, yeah, you might notice it. But here's where the story gets interesting. This phone is running the latest iOS 26, which brought this massive redesign Apple is calling Liquid Glass. And I have to say, it's a game changer. It's a significant leap from the flat design we saw starting with iOS 7, making something like iOS 18 feel, well, old now. Liquid Glass is all about these new translucent layered elements and incredibly fluid dynamic animations. It's just more expressive. And the performance of this new UI on the iPhone 15 is just buttery smooth. Apple's animation work here is top-notch, and honestly, it does a fantastic job of masking the 60Hz refresh rate in day-to-day use. Swiping around the home screen, opening apps, it just feels fluid. When I first updated to iOS 26, yeah, the phone got a bit warm for the first day or so. That's pretty normal. The system is just re-indexing all your files to settle in. But after that, it's been a great experience. I haven't noticed any performance dip, and battery life feels about the same as it did before. Powering all this is the A16 Bionic chip. This was the flagship chip from the iPhone 14 Pro, and it is still an absolute powerhouse. I ran a quick Geekbench 6 test on this phone, and I'm getting a single core score of 2,626 and a multi-core of 6,538. Those are still very respectable numbers for late 2025. Apps open instantly and general navigation is flawless. But the real key here, I think, is the 6GB of RAM. When I review older base models like the iPhone 12 or 13, which have 4GB of RAM, I constantly see apps reloading in the background. It's a real pain point as apps have gotten more demanding. With 6GB on the iPhone 15, multitasking is so much better. Apps stay in memory longer, making the whole experience feel faster and more capable. For gaming, it's still very playable. High-end games run well, it can get a little warm during long sessions, but it's nothing out of the ordinary, and it never gets uncomfortable. Another huge upgrade that came from the Pro line was the main camera. For the first time on a base model, we got a 48 megapixel sensor. By default, it uses a process called pixel binning to create these incredibly detailed 24 megapixel photos. This gives you the best of both worlds. Amazing detail from the 48 megapixel sensor combined with the great light gathering capabilities of a 12 megapixel shot, all without creating massive file sizes. In good light, the photos are just fantastic. The color science is natural, and Smart HDR5 does a great job balancing bright skies and dark shadows. It's a reliable point-and-shoot camera that consistently delivers great results. But here's the clever part. Because the sensor has so many pixels, Apple is able to do a high quality crop from the center to give you a 2x telephoto zoom. And they're not wrong to call it optical quality. The results are sharp and detailed, much better than the mushy digital zoom you'd get on older iPhones. It effectively gives you a third lens, which is perfect for portraits or just getting a bit closer to your subject. And the video quality is still classic iPhone, which is to say it's excellent. You get 4K recording at up to 60 frames per second, cinematic mode for that blurry background effect, and a super stable action mode for when you're moving around a lot. For a phone at this price point, the video capabilities are absolutely top tier. Is it as versatile as the new iPhone 17? Of course not. But for the vast majority of people, this camera system is more than enough. It's a huge leap over something like an iPhone 11, 12, or 13, 14, and it holds its own surprisingly well, even in 2025. Okay, battery life, as a backup phone, I'm not hammering it every single day, but on the days I do use it heavily for gaming, scrolling, and testing, it easily gets me through a full day, especially if I'm mostly on Wi-Fi. I'd say it's a solid all-day phone for the average user. But here's something really important that Apple introduced with the iPhone 15 series. The batteries are designed to last longer. Apple officially states they're designed to retain 80% of their original capacity at 1,000 complete charge cycles. For comparison, older iPhones like the 14 and earlier were rated for just 500 cycles. This is a huge deal, especially when you're buying a used phone. It means a 2-year-old iPhone 15 likely has a much healthier battery than a 2-year-old iPhone 14 would. And my own experience backs this up. After a year and over 200 cycles, I'm still at 100% health. That's fantastic longevity. Now, let's be upfront about what this phone can't do. The iPhone 15 and 15 Plus do not support Apple Intelligence. You need an iPhone 15 Pro or newer for that. And for me, honestly, that's not a deal breaker. Here's why. Apple Intelligence right now in late 2025 is still in its early stages. It's cool, but it's kind of like a beta. For the heavy-duty AI tasks that I actually do, like research or writing assistance, I'm using more powerful dedicated tools anyway, like Google's Gemini or ChatGPT. These apps work perfectly fine on the iPhone 15. So while it's a feature you're missing out on, I don't think it's a reason to avoid this phone, especially at this price. So let's bring it all together. The iPhone 15 in late 2025 for $450 to $500. Is it worth it? For me, the answer is a resounding yes. I think this is one of the best value smartphones you can buy right now. For that price, you're getting a package that is just incredibly strong. Let's break down who this phone is for. If you're coming from an older iPhone like the 11, 12, or even the 13, this will feel like a good upgrade. The jump in camera quality, the much brighter screen, the speed, the dynamic island, it's a night and day difference. If you're looking for an iPhone on a budget, I'd argue this is a much smarter buy than a brand new entry-level model. You're getting a more premium feel and a better core experience for your money. When you look at mid-range Android phones in this price range, they might offer a 120Hz screen, but they often compromise on the processor, build quality, or camera processing to get there. This phone feels like a flagship, just a couple of years older, and if you're watching this and you already have an iPhone 15, keep it. As my experience with iOS 26 shows, this phone has so much life left in it. There is no compelling reason to spend the money on an upgrade unless you absolutely need Apple Intelligence or a 120Hz display. So there you have it. The iPhone 15 in late 2025 is kind of a modern classic. It's the phone where the standard model finally caught up in the ways that matter most. At its new price, the value is just undeniable. But I'd love to hear from you. Are you still using an iPhone 15? What has your experience been like? Or are you thinking of buying one? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this video helpful, a thumbs up would be amazing, and be sure to subscribe for more long-term reviews like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.